In this video, I'm going to show you 7 unheard of businesses that have absolutely insane profit margins, and I promise you've never heard of them. So if you're tired of watching the same old videos,
Amazon FBA.
Amazon FBA business.
Amazon FBA.
A dropshipping store.
Dropshipping.
look no further, because if you stay until the end, you'll have 7 brand new ideas that you can go off and run up a bag with. So let's get into it. Number 1, the packouts business. All this business is essentially a glorified moving company. So what this business does is when you have damage to a home, so think fire, mold, water damage, you call in what's called a restoration company to come and restore the home to its original condition. Now there's a layer deeper that goes into this industry called packouts or contents restoration. They kind of interchange each other. Now what these companies do is they come in, and when there's fire to a home or water damage to a home, there's likely a lot of furniture and personal belongings that get damaged as well. Well, those are also insured under most homeowners' insurance policies. And so the insurance companies will call the packout or content restoration companies in to move all that stuff out, repair, refurbish it to new condition if it's salvageable. If not, just get rid of it. And the coolest part is, because it's going through insurance, packout companies will charge an absolute arm and a leg. And I know this because my cousin owns one called Orange County Packout. They just did over $1 million in revenue last year in only their 2nd year of business. And their only cost of goods is a box truck, which you can rent if you don't want to buy one, and their labor, which you would pretty much charge the same that you would in a normal moving company, which is probably going to be 20, 25 bucks an hour. But now, since you're going through insurance, you're going to be able to charge a lot more for a job than you would if you're just a moving company working directly with the owner. The insurance companies have a higher willingness to pay. So for a normal move that would normally cost, say, $1,000 for a whole house, you as a packout or contents restoration company can now charge upwards of 5, 10. My cousin lands $20,000 or $30,000 jobs that takes him only a couple of days. There's also franchises in the space. There's Blue Kangaroo Packouts, 1-800 Packouts. Not a lot of people know about this, and it's a great business with really, really high profit margins. Number 2, trade show booth design. There's thousands of conferences that happen all across North America every single year. There's big ones, there's small ones, and big companies pay a lot of money to have booth space so they can sell to the attendees of these conferences. And they'll spend even more money designing a badass booth to make their company stick out from the thousands of other booths that are right there on the trade show floor. And so there's companies, and there's actually a lot of companies that just do trade show booth design. When I was in the entrepreneurs organization, I had a friend named Ross. Ross had a trade show booth design business that was doing just under $1 million a year, but about $800,000 or so in net profit, and he was the only employee. And what he would do was he would do all the sales, and when it came time to actually design and build the booth, he would have his suppliers in China pre-build the booth for him, ship it to him, and then he would go out to the trade show and set it up for his customers. He was making almost 90% net profit margin as the only employee in this business. There's also other ones that are bigger that have, staff and everything. So it's not as much as a job, but they still have really, really great profit margins because companies are going to pay a lot of money to have their trade show booth stick out. Okay, number 3 is Bitcoin ATMs. Now this sounds kind of weird, but there's actually a guy in my apartment who runs it up off of placing Bitcoin ATMs. What he does is he places these Bitcoin ATMs at different local areas like convenience stores, gas stations. I've seen some at barber shops here. And what they do is you can buy Bitcoin as long as you have a wallet. And just like a normal ATM, there's transaction fees. But on top of that, it's kind of two-sided, where if you're a business owner that wants to place a Bitcoin ATM, well, then you also have to pay a placement fee. So he makes money on both sides. And I can't give you exact numbers behind how much profit and how much revenue this business is producing, but it's enough for him to own multiple McLarens and a Rolls Royce. And to be honest, I don't really see that many companies do it, and I don't see them everywhere. There's lots of local retail space that could use something like a Bitcoin ATM. Number 4 is piano moving. Now this is much different than regular moving, because if you call a local mover in your area, they likely aren't going to do it. You need to actually call a company that specializes in moving pianos, because believe it or not, there's a lot that goes into it. And I don't know if you've ever felt a piano before, but they're pretty damn heavy, and I know they're not cheap. So you imagine the owners of these pianos are gonna really, really care that their piano makes it to the next destination. And these local piano moving companies will charge anywhere between $700 to $2,500 a piano. So they absolutely rip it. You'll find piano moving companies in almost every major metro of the US or Canada. And there's some that generate up to $5 million a year in revenue just from moving pianos. There's also companies that do similar things to pianos, such as safes or pool tables. Number 5 is mobile screen repair. This is a business that is so slept on because every house has screens on them. At least most houses do. And typically when one screen starts to get damaged, there's a lot of other ones that start to get damaged. And homeowners aren't going to just want to replace one screen, because now you're going to have one brand new looking screen for the window, but all the other ones are going to look kind of janky. So the average order on some of these screen repair services is really, really high, because homeowners aren't going to just replace one screen. They're typically going to replace 8 to 10 or their whole house. And the reason I know this exists is because I used to sell it as an add-on to our window cleaning business, and we would charge $15 a screen if it was just replacing the mesh, which only takes about 2 minutes. We would charge $30 to $50 a screen if it was repairing the whole frame and the mesh of the screen. On top of that, it got to be a pain in the ass for us because it was just a distraction from our main services of window cleaning and pressure washing. So we ended up not doing it and just referring a local company out in our area. This company was doing multiple millions of dollars per year, and they had at least 20 employees in their warehouse just repairing screens. And if I ever broke a screen in a customer's house and I would have to pay for it, they would charge me another $30 to $50 per screen. And after living in Orange County for 7 years, they're really the only one I saw that would come to the customer's house and repair the screens there. And a little cherry on top, the owner was driving a huge lifted Ford Raptor. So I know the guy was absolutely ripping it. It's a really, really good service to look into if you're in an area where you don't really see it advertised as much, because people need their screens repaired. Number 6 is starting a water taxi business. Now there's a big business, believe it or not, that just does water taxi services. It's in the Lake of the Ozarks, and it's called Lake of the Ozarks Water Taxi. Now this can work anywhere that has a big lake area, but to give you some numbers and revenue, this company has 3 boats, and every summer per boat generates $400,000, meaning they're doing about $1.2 million a year just driving people around on water boats. They're charging $250 per trip, and they even have room to expand and add on more boats to their fleet to make even more money. I think the owner just wants to relax, doesn't really want to grow the business, but this could easily work anywhere that has a big lake. It might be a little capital intensive to buy the first boat, but it should pay for itself. So I thought this was a really interesting, cool business that's absolutely ripping it that I haven't seen anywhere on the internet. Number 7, last but not least, we have golf gripping. Yes, believe it or not, there's companies out there that will set up on golf courses, at country clubs, at different events, and just re-grip golf clubs. There's a company, they're based in Southern California, called Grips on the Go. And Sergio actually knows the owner, his name's Sergio, and this guy is running it up. I don't know the exact numbers behind his business, but that's what he does. He goes and he sets up at different golf courses, different events, country clubs, etc. He regrips the golf clubs. He's got a staff of employees doing it, and he even gripped golf clubs for people like Nelk and a lot of other famous people, as you can see on their Instagram. So super cool business, and I don't see a lot of competition, especially given where we're at with golf and the extreme rise in popularity of golf. I see this being a very, very profitable business if you want to give it a go. And I got to sneak this one in there, honorable mention, a remote cleaning business. You can get started for $300.
Another one, another one, another one.
Super cool business where it'll teach you all the skills that you can take into growing the existing remote cleaning business or any other business you want to, because it's going to show you how to hire, how to market, how to sell, and how to run operations, because you're going to have to hire cleaners to go out and do the work for you, and you're also going to have to hire people to do the hiring of the cleaners and answer the phone calls. So really super cool business, super profitable. We have one called Marry a Mop that my mom runs, and she made $150,000 in take-home income on $300,000 of revenue in just 2023 alone. And that was only our 2nd year of business. We've also helped over 1,500 plus people start and scale their own cleaning businesses. If that's something you're interested in, click the link in the bio, and if you haven't and you like content like this, drop a comment, drop a like, hit the notification bell, and subscribe. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.